Oh shit, here we go again.
Okay, I'm in Target in West Covina, California, and this is what they're pushing on their agenda. Okay. Have that. Okay, no way. No more shopping.
We're at Target right now, and there's a lot of controversy going on about all of the Pride stuff that's coming out with kids' clothes and things like that. So we're gonna go to the kids section, and we're actually going to see if they're putting weird, creepy, uncomfy stuff on children's clothing. Okay, this is the child section. This is literally the kids section. I'm next to a literal onesie that says whatever the hell that means. We have Glad You Came Out and I'm So Happy That You're Queer in the kids section. Are you kidding me? I'm sorry, but pride and toddler don't belong in the same sentence. So I found an extra small swimsuit in the child section. It says light binding effect on it. And then the bottoms in the kids section, keep in mind, say tuck friendly construction. They're giving it to your kids. If that doesn't give you a reason to boycott Target, I don't know what does. But this shit's getting out of hand. They're targeting children, whether you like it or not. And it's time that people actually do something about it. Because if they don't, then guess what? That shit won't just be in Target, it'll be in every store, ever.
Now that's what you call a game over. It really does emphasize the magnitude of the defeat. Boom! You lost, motherfucker!
Day 80 of being a girl.
365 days. What? Like, why has it been a year of girlhood and still no tits? That's day one, okay? If I'm transitioning to a dude, day one I'm getting a cock. And I'm getting the biggest one you can find. Like, go into the back room, get me something black, okay? I have something to prove here. Why no tits for Dylan? I don't understand. Because he's a man. Yeah, he can go tomorrow. He's a woman. Uh-oh. We have one of those. I figured. No, it's all good. We can all have different beliefs. It's okay. Some of us can believe in reality and some of us can't. We all coexist. This is America. We should have different beliefs. It's all good. Yeah, just like the real Princeton, I've let in some people I shouldn't have. I've let in some people because they were real athletic. You know what I mean? I saw potential. I let in some people just because they were Puerto Rican. They can't all be white, right? You have... Fuck the transphobe! Is that the best you can do? Oh my God, I'm so sad.
Cow achievement. Trans women can indeed lactate. You would follow the Newman-Goldfarb protocol, a medical protocol designed to help women induce lactation if they were not like getting pregnant themselves. I'm gonna be a mother. That's in the works, in the process.
Just thinking about it makes me feel like having an anal evacuation.
And the friend likes to ask the question, are you a boy or a girl? And Nash answers, I'm just a kid.
But kids can be boys or...
They can be boys or girls. Yeah.
Maybe non-binary.
Yeah. So, yeah, just like me. So Nash, just like me, is non-binary.
me.
That's another thing. I think whereas people are now trying to be so politically correct, they're trying to out-woke each other. Soon someone's going to say, you can't say pedo anymore. It's a derogatory term. It offends people who are child addicted, right? So you're going to have people going to the doctor going, Doctor, I think I'm child addicted, right? And doctor go, oh, you poor thing. How do you feel? I feel like I want to fiddle with kids. That is one of the symptoms. Don't worry, sit down. We'll get you into a facility at taxpayers' expense, right? And we'll wean you off children. How does that work, doctor? Well, you know, like when they give heroin addicts methadone, yeah? Well, we're going to start you on dwarves, right? It might work. It might.
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
Fuck this.
You're hit. You're bleeding, man. I ain't got time to bleed.
If narcissism had a month, it'd be this month. Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the War on Pop Culture. This is episode 21. 21 episodes in, and we are finally here. We are here in Pride Month. A month where people can celebrate or be prideful of something that they supposedly have no control over. And that's kind of a weird concept for me. Like, oh, I'm proud to be white. Okay, why? Because I like being white. It's like, okay. And, you know, like, when I think about pride, I think of things like, you know, I'm proud of this achievement. Like, oh, I just made $500,000 on my hard work or something. Like, I made a sale for $500,000 on a really nice piece of art. I'm proud of that, you know. Or I'm proud to be an American, or I'm proud to be a Canadian. I like my country. I like the values, things like that, right? You would think
proud to be a fucking nerd.
There you go. All the positives that go with being proud of those things. That's what I associate with pride. But to be proud of your sexuality, it doesn't make much sense. Like I can't figure out what exactly is to be proud. And I think that one of the responses would be, well, if you think about all of the oppression that the LGBT community has faced over the years, that's why we're proud, because we fought to be where we are today. Yeah, you know, it's kind of funny you say that, because by that very logic, anybody could be proud of being anything. Because if you think about it, every person or every kind of person from any kind of background has faced some kind of oppression in history.
Right.
White people, black people, Asians, Hispanics, Indians, Middle Eastern folk, right?
Yes.
And anybody and everybody has faced some kind of oppression or hardship in the past. But you don't see Pride Months for everyone else, you know?
I do have a question, though. Are you really being oppressed when the government you elected fully supports you and all the big corporations are changing their logos to appease you with the hopes that you will consume products? Are you really being oppressed at that point?
Obviously, the answer is no. And to add on to what you're saying, the mere fact that you have embassies, like U.S. embassies in other countries, that are more than happy to stick that pride flag right up next to the American flag.
No.
There's a point where you're no longer a resistance or a rebellion. You're
No.
not a resistance or a rebellion when the big corporation or the big oppressive superpower,
The government.
is waving your flag or flying your flag in front of their different establishments.
So it begs the question, what are you rising up against? What are you rebelling against? What are you resisting? Nothing.
Well, that's the thing, because you're right, they are no longer a rebellion if they ever were. They have now become the Empire. We'll use a Star Wars term.
Mm-hmm.
They are now the Empire. They have,
especially during this month.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
they have full support. Okay, all of the big major powers, at least in the Western countries. Okay,
Yeah,
because and then
I mean,
that's something else I want to get into, because there is something to that.
I mean, yeah, compare like every company in the Western part of the world. Just go to their Twitter, just look at all their icons. Hey, look at that. They changed the Twitter icon to the pride flag. Let's buy some sneakers. So, and then go to the Middle East. Nothing at all.
No. You see, with the Middle East, they throw homosexuals off of buildings still.
And kill people with rocks.
Yeah.
Didn't they also, like, I know it wasn't recent, but it was like a couple years ago or something, where they finally gave women the right to drive.
Wow.
And I'm thinking to myself, if you really want to fight some kind of oppression, you should go to these countries that still kill homosexuals. Because last time I checked, it wasn't legal to kill pretty much anybody here in the Western countries. You usually go to jail for those sorts of things. But they
Depends
say
on the
things
severity
like,
of it.
It's like, trans kids are getting killed every day. Or trans people are killed every day. You know?
Is it because we as a Western civilization have become so comfortable that even just one little poke is enough to hurt you? I
want to address that. I want to address that, but I'm going to address the comments really quick.
It really does feel like we have been softened up where everyone else might be tougher than nails in comparison. And in a way, I'd say, I'm not going to put on my tinfoil hat and say World War III is coming, but if it were to, and with how everyone's become such sensitive, special snowflakes in Western culture, doesn't that just make us more vulnerable?
Oh, I'm going to get into that too, because there's plenty to say about that particular topic as well. First of all, hello, T-Con. Thank you very much. I worked very hard. I stockpiled those clips that you saw and put them into a nice 7-minute intro.
Ricky Gervais is right, though.
Yeah. Love the flag waving Carter sauce. We need to get our own Canadian flag in honor of the big D.
Oh, whoa. Let me tell. Well, okay, first of all, that goes in both ways. Thank you, T-Con. But don't get the Canadian flag. Get the Alberta flag. Because the Alberta flag is by far the sexiest flag you'll ever find in Canada.
Oh, okay. I'll make sure to note that. We need a month to honor the World War II veterans, because this June 6, 2023 will be the 79th year of the invasion of Normandy, France, entering the Allies into the European theater. America. Chris Snyder, what's going on, man?
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
They also hang and behead women in that part of the world, plus stoning, right? Yeah. Okay, yeah. So, oh God, I lost my train of thought. You had mentioned about the military aspect of things. Okay.
Well, in a way, just how this side of the world has become so softened up. Well, not really softened up, just sensitized, shall we say?
Well, let me address this.
Well, like I said, we are so comfortable to a point where the majority is so fucking sensitive that like one little flick is enough to set them off. Like, flick me on the fucking arm. Ow, it's broken.
Yeah.
It's a metaphor.
You know, and I want to add to that your thoughts exactly, but my thoughts exactly as well. I would like to add to that statement. It's just like that thing out of Family Guy. It's like Jewish Fight Club. Whenever someone says "ow," you stop. Ow! Yeah, that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had to go there.
this is something that I wanted to address because when a country, a nation, a group, however you want to put it, when it gets to a point where you've experienced so much luxury that you become desensitized to everything else, there is such a thing called balance, and that's something that the Western world needs to learn. Is that we can enjoy all the luxuries that we have right now. At the same time, we must not forget that, at least for America, it wasn't but almost 100 years ago, or pretty much 100 years ago, even more, where our country was in the Great Depression, and you had people lined up trying to get food. The banks were closed down, and people were in poverty. People were struggling and suffering.
But that's just it. That's just testament to history. Like, these people from those times lived through the hard times so we can live through the easy times. And I don't think that's fair, to be honest.
Exactly.
But
sorry, go ahead.
Well, funny thing is, after I just said that, I totally forgot what I was going to say. Shit.
But also, even though it was a bad time for the Great Depression, though, we also got to thank the Empire of Japan, though. Even though, even December 7th, 1941, which is a day that will live in infamy. The surprise attack on the naval base of Pearl Harbor, even though that was without provocation, though, that was just like them literally like, it's like that Robot Chicken sketch of a little Hitler, and it's just like that, like the Japanese kid just like knocking over USA's kids stuff is like, not my problem. He knocks over. Now it's my problem. And to be honest, though, if it wasn't for them, we'd still be in the Great Depression, because that surprise attack, it got us jobs, it got us more soldiers, even women who basically were just stay-at-home wives and stuff. They actually managed to do something about it. Like, you have Rosie the Riveter. She's an inspiration of a woman who could do something in a man's world, and like being a fucking scrapper, a fucking melter, a welder, even perhaps, though. Plus, if it wasn't for them, though, we'd still be broke, though.
So, yeah, I remembered what I was going to say. Like,
Sorry.
in regards to the whole being so sensitive to everything that it ultimately just makes us weaker as a full society. We become weaker because we're too comfortable with everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're not going through the toughest of times, but it's like, but the thing is, you should never let your guard down. Like,
Never.
You can enjoy what you have, but always stay alert, because as we say in the national anthem up here in Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Always remember that. See, I mean, Carter's waving his American flag. I gotta show some Canadian patriotism here.
Well, that's good. That's very important. Always stay on guard for thee. I like that. I like that saying.
Stay on
Here's
guard
the
for
thing.
That you said the thing.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Sorry. So, with the military topic, at least for here in the U.S., and also because it is Pride Month, you're having our military. First of all, our military has lowered our standards for letting in recruits. That's the first thing. They have lowered certain requirements to where they're pretty much letting almost anybody in. And that's not an exaggeration. I've read some articles about how some of the tests for like endurance and stamina have been lowered so much, and how soldiers or recruits, they're dropping out as fast as they're getting in. Oh yeah. And what you were saying about military and warfare, for America, we're fucked, because if you compare the soldiers of World War II, for example, to the soldiers of today, it's pathetic. And it's insane to think that this is supposed to be the same U.S. military that got us through the World War II. Of course, there was many factors to that surround that whole scenario and that whole situation. You had actual generals that cared about the war. They cared about their country. You know, Patton, for example. You know,
Audie Murphy.
What's his name? Eisenhower, right?
General D. Eisenhower.
There
Or no,
were a lot of figures that were instrumental in the strength of our military. And while our boys weren't very buff and shit, they were lean. They had endurance. They had stamina. And you compare that to today, where one of the biggest issues with the military is about gender reassignment surgery.
No.
Military. This isn't like the average Joe citizen. This is our military we're talking about. My father was in the military. I see his pissed off face every day, bringing articles like that up or bringing up topics like, oh, yeah, in the Army, we're not thinking about the Army. We're thinking about the individual rights of every American fighting man, woman, or non-binary to get gender reassignment surgery.
Doesn't it kind of go back to the old saying, though? I mean, they'll probably look at this as fucking non-inclusive or transphobic or some shit. As I know, but problem is you got to push back against it. But it's like the old saying when they would say, "When you're with us, we turn you into a man." It's like if you're a kid that gets sent to military school. Like, we take children, turn them into men. Like, yeah, it can be brutal, but that's par for the course. And it should be. You are not there to fucking complain about everything. But, again, I know it might be semi-hypocritical to say that social media is... I've always considered social media to be the catalyst to how we have devolved, because it has cultivated a generation of narcissists. And another reason, like, I hate to bring up the whole Ukraine thing, but remember, they were taking TikTok videos of soldiers out there dancing. Like, and it goes to the whole hospital shit too. Slightly off topic, but you know what I'm talking. But you know what I'm talking about.
The deadliest virus in history, and the nurses and doctors have time to be fucking dancing.
We're so overworked. They're not lying when they say they're overworked, because, God damn it, we got to get this choreography right. Come on, 5, 6, 7, 8. And again, and it's because of shit like that. Like, when people want to post this shit on social media, that's why people get skeptical. But we're getting further down and further down, where I swear to God, you put the shades on from They Live, you're going to see people for who they are. Just a bunch of mindless freaks. Well, maybe not freaks, I shouldn't probably use that word, but aliens. Just consume everything, conform, obey. Like, don't question anything.
Is what you really want to say.
They are slaves.
Here's the problem.
No, wait, I gotta say it like this. Slaves! Anyway.
Here's the problem. With the advent of technology and social media, on the one hand, it's a really great tool where you can talk to somebody that is thousands of miles, happening right now. Okay, that's one
great.
of the benefits, being able to converse with people you've never met in person. Creating relationships like that. On the other hand, you have people that are obsessed with getting likes. It's a dopamine hit essentially for posts. I mean, making posts, getting likes, and just getting all those interactions and making yourself feel better, hyping yourself up. It can, and when you're exposed to that for years, right, it puts you on this high ass pedestal where you think you're a fucking invincible god, but eventually you'll fall down and then you'll crash. You'll burn. Like, oh my God, how can I operate without my, shit,
Right. Well, back in my day, you know how we got together? We'd fucking get together in the same room and play Mario Kart.
There you go.
And you know what else? Back to the whole doing everything for clicks. Have you seen that TikTok star? I refuse it. Like that person that's like walking into random people's houses and shit.
Oh, that dumb motherfucker. Oh, that
Jesus fucking Christ.
He got on Piers Morgan's show.
Oh God, I want to.
Yeah, I saw a clip. I saw a clip of that, and that motherfucker was trying to do the whole race baiting thing. Like, you're just hating on me because I'm black. And Piers Morgan's like, no, it's because you're an idiot.
Yeah, and Piers Morgan's an idiot too, and it's one of those things where I like seeing them eat each other because Piers Morgan's a fucking moron.
Yeah, he's a fucking twat.
And then he's conversing with another moron, and you know, I'm waiting for the articles that say that somebody ganked his ass. That's what I'm waiting for, because the type of shit that he's doing, if he does that in the wrong neighborhood, there's very few people that will tolerate that. You basically break into somebody's house, sit down there with your fucking legs crossed like you own the place. Then you steal somebody's dog. Then he tried to hijack a train. Well, not hijack, but I saw the video. He went to a train and he started like fiddling with the buttons or whatever. You know, I'm thinking to myself, okay, what's stopping this prick from going into that train, starting the train, and then jumping out of the train and let it speed off with no driver? And then, oh my God, who's going to be there to pilot it, you know, to drive it, to make sure it doesn't crash into another train or get off the rails? I mean, you have to think about these ideas. And you think to yourself, okay, this asshole is doing it for clicks. He wants people to watch him.
And he does. And he doesn't. It's like he doesn't know or even give a shit about the consequences.
No, he
doesn't. That's what pisses me off the most. And again, he tries to play the whole race baiting shit. Now, yes, Piers Morgan himself is an idiot, and he's an even bigger idiot for even having that motherfucker on his show to begin with, because you're just giving him what he wants. Exactly. But I mean, at least he's being straightforward about it. I totally respect that he's saying what needs to be said.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you something, and I might want to sound dark here, and maybe it's for comedic effect, who knows, but if you feel like you just want to walk into my house, I just want you to know, I wouldn't let you leave.
Yeah. I mean, that's home invasion, first of all. I mean, you're trespassing on private property. That is the thing to remember, private property. And it's not just your house. It's not just your items, okay? What defines private property is multiple things. It's your own self, your body, your family. That is your property. It may sound weird, but in the legality, the legal lingo, the wording, your private property extends beyond just your house or your car. It's everything there.
Yeah,
okay? And you have a right to defend your property. And if somebody is stupid enough, I know. But if you're stupid enough to invade somebody's private property, they have a right to defend said property. And that is the term that you have to use. If somebody breaks into your house, you're defending your life and your property. But people like this idiot, they're not clicking with that. And that's why I'm waiting, because he's done a lot of dumb shit. I've only seen a little bit of what he's done, but from what I've seen, you walk into the wrong house, someone's not going to leave. You might not leave.
Yeah.
Basically, he created a new challenge on TikTok called the Fuck Around and Find Out Challenge. Because I'll tell you one thing, though. You better not come here in the States, though. Because if he comes here to the States and he pulls this shit on some house, he's gonna pull that shit in the wrong house. And let me tell you something. I pray to fucking God it's my house. Because guess what?
Not even in the United States.
I know, but if he does, and he decides to pull that shit here, let me tell you something. He's gonna know that this house is protected by the good Lord, a gun, and dogs, and a fucking backhoe. That's what they got, though. Because guess what, motherfucker? You're not leaving alive, though. Because guess what? Your ass is gonna get shot, and I'm gonna take my dad's backhoe and bury you. And then you will never leave this world.
Okay,
never leave my property.
You know what? I've never really approved of the whole use faith to intimidate people. Okay, and it's just because of the cultural shift. Because everyone just seems to harp on Christians anymore, like they're the worst thing ever. And now, because you know what else? Because you know who else is celebrating the whole Pride Month? The Satanic Church. And
very interesting.
Now. I've always been like a real joker when it comes to that kind of shit. Like, I mean, just think about it. Someone wants to break in your house. You scare them off by faking a satanic ritual just to scare them away. Because then they think you're fucking nuts. But now, that's the norm.
Well,
what
that's the thing.
happened?
I'm not
Chase him out with a shotgun. Or
I'm not much into the religion game much anymore. With that said, I still find it hilarious that it's not just these social media idiots and even the LGBT community itself or aspects of it, but Hollywood as well, where they push this demon devil shit, and you have the gullible Christians that just feed into their own religion, and there might be some truth to it. But I like to look at things and approach things from a more neutral standpoint, where everybody can understand why I disapprove of these things. When I criticize the LGBT community and I criticize Hollywood, I don't throw the even though you're sinning, Jesus loves you, because not everybody is Christian. People have different religions. They're not going to connect with you if you're spouting out things about Jesus, God, and you're going to go to hell for being a lesbian.
Well, it's like you can't just go around spouting your beliefs or anything because it puts people off, and it doesn't matter whether it's religion, and that's it too. It is more divide and conquer bullshit. Like, now look, to anyone watching, it's not that we hate people of the community. We don't. We have friends in that. But what we hate is the corporatization of it and how it's become weaponized to just divide everyone. That's because I don't want to just be, I wouldn't want a friend who happens to be gay and just say, well, I can't be friends with you anymore because, well, you're gay. Why? I wouldn't want that. It's like, you do you. Whatever makes you gay. Get it?
I mean, my stance
gay,
is that
happy. Whatever makes you happy.
Yeah, see? It's a pun. It's a bad gay pun, okay?
Yeah.
My stance on that is that I may not fully agree with everything, but who am I to say how you are to live your life? So you go ahead and you do your thing. But here's the thing. Oh, God damn it! I said it.
You're allowed to say as much as you want. It's part for the course, and I kind of enjoy it. But before you continue, I will just to add to that, there has to be a line drawn because societal standards do exist for a reason. It's so we don't end up damaging ourselves. It's like the old saying goes: check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Well, I'm gonna play something just really quick, and it'll set the tone for the conversation and what I really want to start focusing on. Well, anyway, hold on.
What about escalation?
Escalation. Okay. Usually, with every great empire, there eventually comes to the point where they reach the pinnacle of their decadence, and then they begin to fall. I think, and this is based on my evaluation of what's happening with our culture, our society. See, when you get a culture that is divided, or when you start bastardizing the culture, it begins to affect the people. Because when you take out the politics, when you take out the religion, what other things do people connect with? Or connect to each other with? Culture. Our love for horror movies, our love for
action movies,
superhero movies, all these things. These are things that we can connect with. The issue is that when you start bastardizing that stuff, the stuff that helps connect us together, when people start fighting about culture, then they've won. Because you think people are really going to connect anymore on religion and politics? I mean, those two practically go hand in hand with shit. Or as far as dividing people, because it's like, oh, I'm on this team, or you're on that team, and because we're on opposite teams, we can't be friends. And it's like, oh, well, we can still be different political sides and still be friends. It's hard to do that. As much as people want to say, as much as people want to say, oh, well, just because we're different political sides doesn't mean we can't be friends. It's hard because that aspect of life, or the aspect of culture, it affects so much, and people don't want to let go of certain things. They keep certain things true to their heart that they feel is right. And if you contradict that, even if it's one little thing, it can cause a divide, right? And that it can be hard, right? I mean, and you lay it down, look at the foundation. You're a human being, first and foremost. Gay, straight, you're a human being. You have a right to exist, okay? Understand that there are boundaries. And these aren't specifically written boundaries. It's just a sort of innate understanding that, hey, you know what? When you're an adult, you can do pretty much whatever the hell you want.
Well, that's just it. That's where it all is. That is where the boundary is. 2 words. Adults only.
Exactly.
I want to address the chat.
Yes.
What's going on, Kyle? Welcome to the show. Chris says, here's how I look at it. As long as you're not hurting anybody and you're happy, do whatever you want. My issue is when the government and corporations use those things to push their agendas. The moment they go, look, we have gay characters. Cool. Why are you telling us? Because attention. Just let us enjoy them as characters, not because of their sexual orientation, etc. Focus on that. Here's the thing. They don't. Because, again, we as a culture, a society, Western civilization, have enjoyed a lot of luxuries. Okay? And when you enjoy an extended period of peace without experiencing the hardships of how we even got to this point in the first place, you become narcissistic, you become arrogant, and that leads to a downfall. And it's escalation. You know why? Because where did this all start? It started with the right for people who are gay to get married. That's really where it started. The social acceptance of accepting that people are gay and letting them get married. That's where it started, right? Now you look at it today, that is not where it's at all. They want, and again, this isn't criticizing every single person who may be gay. I'm also not kissing your ass. It's acknowledging the truth that is people are how they are. And you can't really change that. With that said, these days, the ass kissing is immense. And it's gotten to a point now where it's no longer about equality. It's not.
Dominance.
They want to be above that. The community, with all the representation, with all the media corporations, with the governments itself pushing it. They're pushing it. It's no longer, hey, you got people over here that are gay. You know, just don't go harassing them. Let them do their thing. You do your thing. That's all there is to it. No, it's not like
Fair enough.
They literally have to have representation in everything. And it's not just with the LGBT community. It can be with anything. But we're focusing specifically on Pride Month. But look at how it escalated. And look where it's even at now with kids. Because look, where it's going, where it is, not where it's going, it's here. Okay? If it wasn't a fucking TED Talk that I watched a few years ago with a woman sitting up there advocating and pushing for pedophilia to become normalized, it is the trans kids, it is the drag shows that are family friendly. Where is the line? Where does it stop? Where are people finally going to acknowledge that, okay, you want kids to mutilate their own bodies? When is it going to stop? Where are you going to acknowledge that
it's like those who morally oppose it but are afraid to speak out they just feel like they're backed into a corner. They don't want to say anything because they're afraid of what they're going to be labeled. Now, but I want to go back to something Chris said. Sorry, but when he was talking about when it comes to writing characters, because I like to focus on the writing of characters as well myself. Like when you're using like someone's sexuality, skin color, or any of those things just as the baseline for who they are, again, it's shallow. Like if they've got nothing to base these characters off of other than just that, well, what is there to them? How can I get invested in this character? Like John Kent Superman. What was there to that character?
Nothing.
Nothing. it's Superman but bisexual. So, what else? Is there anything? No, that's all you got. Okay. Or Daniel Kibblesmith's New Warriors. Do we need to bring up Snowflake and Safe Space again?
No.
Oh, but we do. Because that's where it has gotten, and that is how it has affected writing in comics, video games, and TV shows, and it's affected the media and how that's what they focus on. Look at shit like Kotaku. Look at fucking Polygon. Look at The Gamer. That's all they fucking talk about anymore.
The Mary
Characters.
Sue.
That doesn't count. Fuck those guys. Oh, I'm
Willow.
sorry. Are they even guys? I don't know. I don't want to assume genders here, but that's all they focus on. They always make these clickbait articles. That's another thing. That's where this whole weaponizing the whole pride thing has become. They will make these clickbait articles, and it's rage bait too, because they always like to say, "We got them haters. They're just a bunch of homophobic, racist assholes." Am I right? It's like, no, because you're writing garbage, and you have no self-awareness to own up to the fact that what you're writing is shit. Because you are trying to start a fire, but we have more fire, and we're going to fight it with our fire and our farts.
Yep, and let me tell you, you guys ain't leading but two things: Jack and shit. Jack left fucking town.
But yeah,
Here's the thing. There it is again.
I've grown. It's your quirk. It's your quirk. That's your catchphrase. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But my catchphrase was hello there. I guess I got two
Well,
catchphrases.
Oh, and your third one. What? Only on Daner's Dumpster. Anywho.
At the end of the day, people watching, people listening, whatever, people out there that are fighting this stuff, people that are fighting against it, fighting for it, either one, it boils down to the children. Listen, it seems like people are not getting what is right in their face. I have witnessed one of these drag shows. I went to a protest here locally a couple months ago. I watched this shit.
Which I would like to go to next time.
Here's the thing. They being the ones that were hosting the drag event that was advertised as family friendly, it got to a point where they started trying to cover up the inside of the building, like the windows. It was at a taco place.
Yeah, a Mexican restaurant.
No, it was a taco place. Yeah,
I know that
restaurant,
place.
but it's a fucking taco place.
Yeah, I've been there.
It got to a point where, because we were trying to get filming inside to see what was going on. Because look, we all know what's going on. A drag show is like a strip show, except instead of women, they're dudes. They were trying to cover up the inside of the building. Now, I'm pretty sure they weren't going in there nailing kids, but they were doing things like shaking their asses. I mean, dude, it's a fucking drag show. What else do you need to know? If you've gone to any other drag show that didn't market itself as family friendly, you know what's happening there. It's like a strip club. They shake their asses. They do a bunch of sensual dances where they rub themselves and all that shit. Okay? It is like a strip club, but it's for drag. And drag initially started out as a fucking kink. I thought that the whole thing with the whole LGB, lesbian, gay, bisexual, that's how it used to be. Advocating for people who were homosexual or bisexual to have equal footing compared to everybody else. Okay, here's the truth of the matter, first of all, before we continue on. People will always be uncomfortable with it. I'm sorry for your hurt little feelings if you can't accept the reality that people will not universally accept that type of lifestyle. And it's never going to happen. You're not going to get every single person to acknowledge it, because for some people, it doesn't make any sense. They'll use logic. They'll use examples of how it doesn't make sense. With that said, just because they think that way doesn't mean that they want you dead or that you don't have a right to exist. And if you can't accept that either, then you might as well shut yourself off from the rest of the world, because anybody will criticize you for anything you do. On one of our watch-alongs for Danner's Dumpster, one of the comments we got was of a guy basically making fun of us. Like one person was pointing out how I always eat all the time. Who fucking cares?
Who gives a shit?
I think he was talking about Carter, actually.
Really?
Really?
I mean,
Because he
I always
said Dan, even though my name's not Dan, says the guy on the top left. It's like, okay. ER is the guy on the right, and the dumpster is the guy at the bottom who's eating all the time.
Well, that's kind of fucking rude.
But
you want to
things
swear
like
up, bitch?
that. But with things like that, if you let those little comments get you down, then how are you going to operate?
I humored the fucking comment.
No, of course.
It's not far off.
Yeah, I mean, you got to laugh at these things, or you got to accept that people are going to make fun of you for any reason they like. And if you're
Look
going
at the She-Hulk video.
If you're going to apply that line of thinking to your sexual orientation to the point where you're gonna crap yourself because someone says, "Oh, I don't like gays," for example. Somebody said that. The mature thing and the better thing to do would be just to move on, because what are the chances you're going to see that same person again?
Exactly.
Unless you're stalking them, then that's another thing.
But here's another problem that I have with how all this has made people so fucking sensitive. And again, this goes back to the whole social media thing, because it's made everyone so soft, where I already made the whole flicking metaphor, but now it's comments on the internet or whatever you see on the internet that might be a joke, that might be a bit of just a little jab at a certain community of people, but it's meant to be funny, because humor is a transcendent tool. And I mean, the memes are coming to life now because of the intro with Ford there.
Yeah.
Like, I share a meme that literally says, it's a picture of a Ford key that says, "This key unlocks the closet so you can come out and let everyone know you're gay." Now, and yes, by the way, not to pat myself on the back too much here, but I have totally shared that to gay people. And you know how they reacted? They fucking laughed. Or how about this video where maybe I should get offended because I drive a Dodge, where a friend sent me, I won't name names here, I don't need to dox anyone here, but sent me a video on Instagram making fun of how Dodge Rams have those stupid dials to put it in gear as opposed to a lever. He puts...
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's a dial. It looks like a volume dial, right?
Yeah.
Reverse neutral drive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like my brother's truck, it has one of those. And in this video, guy puts in drive, and then there's a loud "gay." And my God, I thought that was hilarious. But I drive a Dodge, but my Dodge Journey does not have one of those. So,
well, that's good.
But that's the point of the whole roast comedy, if you will. Like, remember old Don Rickles and Richard Pryor? All they did was make fun of different people and stereotypes.
Right.
But that's why we do it. It allows us, no matter what community you're from, to laugh at yourselves. Like, why don't you look at Brian's cousin from Family Guy? Or Bruce the Performance Artist. Oh no.
Yeah.
Like, so
Oh,
exaggerated.
Jesus Christ. Like Mr. Slave from South Park.
Oh, God.
Here's
Not
the
Mr.
thing.
Slave.
Yeah, I went there.
Humor is subjective. Like many things,
Yes.
humor is subjective. What one person may find funny, another person might find to be offensive. You can't regulate that shit because of the very nature of it being subjective. People will laugh or not laugh at certain things. And of course, you start policing language, freedom of speech is so important. And I don't think that people in the Western countries realize how important it is, especially here in America.
Oh, they used to.
Well, of course they did. They used to, because they went to war for the shit. The importance of being able to speak your mind without the government knocking on your door ready to arrest you. I mean, I read an article a couple days ago about a 3-year-old that was thrown in prison because he had a Bible.
What the fuck? It's a kid.
That's in Korea, North Korea, I believe.
Oh, fuck Korea. Oh, fuck them.
I mean,
those North Koreans are
obviously,
crazy.
right? But think about how people in the Western countries can literally glue themselves to the fucking pavement to protest climate change, or the fact that people can burn down their own cities, burn down their own neighborhoods, and not have to worry about getting arrested and thrown in jail for arson.
Well, the media will just paint it as mostly peaceful because their cause aligns with their ideology.
Fiery, but mostly peaceful.
Oh, fuck,
CNN.
Yeah, and then they fucking launch a Roman candle at them. That was hilarious.
Mm-hmm. Oh, don't worry. That was a fiery but mostly peaceful protester, right?
Oh, bullshit.
But
yeah,
this is my point, though.
The truckers. Oh, the big evil truckers.
What ended up happening?
Well, the mandates ended here in Alberta, so.
So victory
because
victory.
our provincial government, they fucking, because even they were kind of getting to the point where it's like, okay, look, enough people here. They went ahead and got it. We're done.
Yeah.
And that's the same government. That's the same government that got reelected, by the way. That's probably another reason why no one wanted to elect the opposition, considering that same opposition had the idea to start going door to door with that poker. So,
but you know what? Wasn't it also GoFundMe decided to cancel like several?
There was that. There was the fucking finance minister who's just a fucking crook who, every time she opens her stupid mouth, I die. Who froze bank accounts for anyone who donated.
Mm-hmm.
Because despite how much fucking turd nugget wants to keep saying that everyone has the freedom to protest, yeah, until it's against your policies, that is.
Right.
That is when it's a big no-no, and then they'll freeze your bank accounts. And again, I should just get a fucking tinfoil hat just to make fun of myself just a bit, but that's another reason why they want to take us all where everything has to be on technology, because they have the control over that.
Yep.
That is why, no matter where you go, always carry cash. Always carry cash.
Cash is
if
king.
If you don't hold it, you don't own it. That's what my dad always tells me.
Yeah. And I'm just going to say it. Our money is so much better than yours, by the way, because all I have to do to look at my wallet to know which one is a $20 bill, it's the color. Now,
clearly.
You can liken that to the fucking rainbow all you want and call it Monopoly money like everybody else, but at least I could just go like this. Open wallet. There's 10.
What's going on, Peter? Welcome to the stream.
Yeah,
you know, Peter, I keep on kicking myself because I want to get you on one of these episodes for Warm Pop Culture. We can't ever get you on. But hey, you know what? Congratulations on all the Roseblood achievements. You've been kicking ass.
Good for you.
Oh, and also happy birthday. I know I already wish you happy birthday, but still.
Oh,
happy birthday.
Happy belated birthday.
I don't have Peter on Facebook, but happy birthday.
Right.
But,
oh my God, we're getting everybody in the chat. What's going on, Bacon?
Hey. Hello there, pork chop bang bang.
Pew 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 pew.
Hey, you know what, Peter? I got a little bit of a story to tell you. So a couple years ago, my dad, myself, and Carter went to Texas Frightmare weekend, and he met Lee Majors. And unfortunately, I was unable to meet Lee Majors because I was in line waiting to meet Robert England, but I ended up not being able to because we had a photo op to go to, so I missed out. But regardless of that, my dad was having a chat with Lee Majors, and Lee Majors was telling my dad about getting older and stuff. And he recalled a conversation that he had with Clint Eastwood, and Lee Majors tells my dad that Clint Eastwood told him, "Don't let the old man in." And I take that to heart. Because it's like, yeah, your body gets old, wear and tear and such, but if you keep yourself in a youthful mind where you never stop, you keep going forward, you have fun doing what you're doing, you're never getting old. Physically, maybe, but mentally, you stay sharp, you stay youthful and active, enjoy doing the things you love to do. So keep that in mind, Peter. From Lee Majors and Clint Eastwood and my father.
So, something else. Remember back in 2019 when the media tried to tell you that? Oh, what's that? That's Arnold actually
He says,
posted.
yes, Arnold actually posted that same saying, wishing Clint a happy birthday. Yeah.
Neat.
Wow.
Neat. Fucking A. But remember back in 2019 when a certain movie was set to release and the media said it was going to incite a violent incel uprising and it would cause so much violence in the theaters? And just how fucking wrong they were about Joker?
Yeah, wasn't that hilarious?
Yeah, but what's happening during screenings for The Little Mermaid?
Dude,
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
I
I
watched
TikTok.
one video, and I don't even know what the argument was about.
Me
What was the
neither.
argument about?
There are two videos, and they're like, I swear they're two different theaters. I have no idea what the fuck is going on.
Maybe someone said something, and
So I do have a theory. Once again, and because you know what, I'm ready to start talking about Disney because fucking Disney, Jesus
fuck
Christ.
Disney, fuck them.
But I've said it many times. The way they have marketed The Little Mermaid, they are asking for this kind of shit. They are, because Disney, they are a political empire. Because now they have gotten to the point where it is divide and conquer like any government would do. Because they push the shit out of Ariel's fucking skin color with this movie. That is their big fuss. And it is damaging to not only their brand, but I don't think they care. Because they like to get on their high horse and pretend we're the good guys, and anyone who disagrees with what we're doing, they're the evil, they're the istophobes, they're this and that. Because, oh yeah, anyone who doesn't like Little Mermaid, they surely must be racist. Let me set the damn record straight. Let me just set that goddamn record straight. And actually, before I set that damn record straight, the Chinese poster. I fucking told you so. Now, sure, they didn't reduce her on screen or cover up, but they made her skin blue. And that just leaves. Now, let me just get this out of the way. Hey, did you see the mermaid skin? Talk about blue. Emperor's New Groove joke there.
Yeah.
Patrick Warburton voice. I had to go there, but again, that's just what I'm saying, is that I don't care what color Ariel would have been, despite everything, like, oh, and it's a Danish folktale, like, whatever. My problem is using her skin color as the fucking baseline for marketing. That's where I have a problem, because it's disingenuous, and I'll say it, that is the real racism that nobody's fighting. Why is everyone always so drawn to someone's skin color when it comes to playing characters?
Well,
but hold on, because I saw something else today, because this has been happening a lot lately. People getting in an uproar over voice actors. Like, oh, you can't voice that character. Like, what was it called? I forget what it was. Oh yeah, it's like an upcoming X-Men show or something. It's an animated series.
Oh, is it the continuation of the one from the 90s? Because that's supposed to be coming.
Yeah, I think that's the one, but I forget the character's name. I don't quite remember, but he's Brazilian.
Wait, really? Her skin is blue in other countries?
Just go to Google the Chinese poster. Like, just go check up Little Mermaid Chinese poster. They painted her blue because that's what they do whenever they market in China. Which I'll say it once again. Despite when Disney says we care so much about diversity and inclusion, no. Once the Chinese market is coming, it's like, yeah, get out.
Well, you know why, right?
China!
You know why, right? Like, here's a bomb for you.
China. Go back to China.
China doesn't like black people.
They're racist.
They don't.
You're right.
They don't.
Like Chadwick Boseman's face on the Black Panther poster, cover it up. Finn on the Force Awakens poster, shrink them down.
It's wild, but it's also very believable. And they pretty much do that. Or I mean, it's not just for China, but if you ever see movies getting censored or posters getting altered for certain markets, it's usually because other countries don't approve of what the West is so comfortable with showing off. Yeah. Like they're kind of like flashers, right? Where if it's in Western countries, boom, gay, boom, black, boom, whatever, right? But if it's in other countries that aren't the West that have been so, open about things, they will censor the shit out of it. And there's a bigger thing to that. I'm going to mention this really quick because I know you were on to something, Danner.
Finish up. I'll get to it.
Here's the problem, or here's what you have to remember, is that when you have countries that would be our enemies in certain aspects, like I'm looking at China big time, where
go back to China.
They are pushing their people and they're promoting that their people get married, have a family, procreate. And this is especially concerning because it's China. Why? Because it wasn't too long ago that China had what was called a one-child policy, where it is, as it says, one child per family. All of a sudden now, that's changed. Not only have they been pushing for their military men to continue procreating, but they have criticized the West for being so, in your face with the LGBT related shit. Okay. You have other countries criticizing us for that shit, where America was once the bastion of freedom. Like everybody wanted to come here because it's so great. You have countries criticizing us for being so open about so much shit and encouraging their own people to procreate. There's something wrong. It's wrong here. It's wrong there. And people are not noticing it because they're too fucking obsessed with shit like this. The fucking representation. If it's not LGBT shit, it's reparations for slavery or black representation or just representation in general, which translates to less white people because white people bad. Go ahead, Dan.
I will circle back to a bit of that whole representation thing, even though it's something I totally talked about before, but what do you do? Back to the whole voice acting thing, because there's that character from that X-Men show. I don't quite remember him by name, but I know he's Brazilian. I know this character is supposed to be Brazilian. And so is the voice act. And the voice actor's Brazilian, but people are now, the people who just fucking obsess over the whole diversity and inclusion shit, they are now complaining that he's not dark enough. Because to voice a character, which is all sorts of fucking stupid. And these people want everything to be so inclusive. Well, why are you trying to restrict it? Because that is what you're creating. You can't just say, oh, well, you're not the right skin color to lend your voice. What does your voice and your skin color have to do with one another?
Yeah.
Nothing. I mean, for fuck's sakes, I don't remember anyone in an uproar over Samurai Jack, who is a Japanese character voiced by a black man. And who gave a shit? His voice went really well for that character.
Hey, I'll mention one for me and Carter. The Call of Duty Zombies, the 4-man crew. You had Takeo Misagi, or Takeo, who was a Japanese character voiced by a white guy. In fact, the same white guy that did the voice for Yoda in the Clone Wars animated series, Tom Kane. Phenomenal voice actor. He voiced a Japanese character, and people weren't in an uproar about it. I don't know if they are now, but he recently had a stroke a few months ago, and he basically had to retire from voice acting.
Yeah.
That's
he was
so
a legendary
fucking sad.
character. Yeah. I know. Legendary character. Fan favorite. But people weren't complaining about it. But again, with the culture being so critical of the tiniest things and being so free to do so, where nobody's giving pushback. I mean, they're giving pushback now because people are getting tired of it. I mean, if the box office numbers for Little Mermaid so far are anything to go by.
Well,
Little Mermaid. Lil by Lil Wayne.
I mean, from what we understand, obviously the box office is doing okay, I guess, in North America, but overseas it's not doing so hot, apparently.
Of course it isn't.
But
of course not.
Now I'm just going to say this. I'm tempted as hell because I got a bit, because I liked Spider-Verse, okay? Even though I will fully acknowledge Miles Morales is Miles Morales.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm almost tempted just to go see Across the Spider-Verse starring Miles Morales as Miles Morales in a movie that happens to have Spider-Man at some point, just to castrate Disney. Because I guarantee this weekend, that's going to be number one at the box office, Spider-Verse. And at the same time, it can also feel sort of good because, you know what? That's Sony, not Disney. So, I mean, call it cruel irony, if you will, but
do as you will. All that I know is that I don't care for the other Spider people because.
Whoa, hang on now. But what about? What was his name again? I don't care. Spider Pig. What about Spider Pig?
Oink oink. Spider Ham.
For Spider Pig, we got Bacon. He's just fine as himself with that stash.
Porker.
But
Porker, I want pictures of Spider-Man now, damn it.
Or Noir Spider-Man. I mean, hey, Noir Spider-Man got points for me because it was Nicolas Cage. I mean, come on, you can't go wrong with the guy. Even when you go wrong, you go right with him for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just my thing is that it's still giving Disney money, even if it's not directly Disney. Bless you, by the way. It's still.
You didn't hear that, did you?
No, I didn't.
Okay, good.
I just saw your
my
face.
mic.
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw your face. That's why I was like, oh, I know why. But no. Yeah, it's still giving Disney money. And with what happened to Gina, that's my biggest thing. That is why I refuse to buy anything Disney related anymore or anything connected to them. As much as I really like the gameplay for that new Spider-Man game, it looks pretty fun, and I like seeing the Black Suit Spider-Man. Having Tony Todd voice Venom, that's awesome. That's
fucking
really
Candyman?
awesome.
Fuck yeah.
With that said, they fired Gina Carano. They haven't done any kind of fucking apologies. They haven't done any kind of, hey, we fucked up. In fact, they keep on fucking up with Star Wars. They're fucking up with their own Mandalorian character. They can't stop destroying themselves. And that's why I'm just going to sit back and let them do it. Because eventually it will get so bad for them that they will have no choice but to do a 180. And I'm waiting for the day. Except the thing is, I will not let them on my ship, figuratively speaking. They are on a sinking ship. They are the sinking ship. You're going to have the rats. They're going to try and jump ship and go to another ship like, oh, hey, save us, please. We're sorry for everything. No, you're not. They're not going to apologize, though. That's the thing. They're not going to apologize for firing Gina Carano. What? Because they have corporate overlords. They have an entire community of people that harassed her, and they wanted to get her on a Zoom chat and basically just like talk to all these different LGBT activists to make amends for her beep bop boop Twitter bio shit. This was a long time ago. This was before she was fired. And I'm thinking to myself, you want to go support these people? They're taking your money and laughing while they do it. They hate you. Fucking Eric July says this all the time. Don't fund the bastards that hate you. They're not funding you. You're funding them. You can find alternatives. Is it an inconvenience? Yes, for sure. You know how upset I am that I can't go out and buy Predator merchandise as much as I would love to. I'm not going to Target. I'm not going to Walmart. Not going anywhere where Disney's going to get their fucking buck on anything that I might like. You know how hard and frustrating that is? It's very difficult. But you know what? It's something that I will live with.
You can adjust to it because believe me, it's like I've said many times. There have been many times when I go to like GameStop, the comic book store, and there's Star Wars merch, sometimes Marvel merch where I look at it's like, damn, that looks awesome. But no. Like, remember when I told you how I saw Luke Skywalker's green saber?
Yes.
I saw a video for it, and god damn it, it has the right sound when it ignites. It's like, fuck. God damn it, Disney. You shit the bed so many times, and
you shit the bed so hard it makes Amber Turd look like a saint.
But with Star Wars, it's not just there's more to it than just their political viewpoints and the firing of Gina Carano that I hate so much. It's who they've hired as writers. Or writers in the most general term I'm using loosely, of course.
Of course.
If you had hired people who care more about what they are crafting, pouring blood, sweat, and tears into telling a good story in the Star Wars universe, and not just worrying about what fits the current political climate or what people on social media are going to tweet about, that's the route they took. They took the wrong path. They chose the dark side. Now, I saw a tweet from the Act Man where it's like, you're on to something. He said that if they had actually, you know what? I'm going to pull up the tweet and I'll just do I'll read it.
Okay. Also, to add to your statement, Kale, even though I know I haven't been providing much, though, to your ship statement, though, like if you're not letting them on your ship, if they're coming out, if they're in the water and the ship is sinking, and they're asking to come on your ship. If I was head of security, I'd be like, no. But in the words of God, what was that guy? The Gestapo officer from Raiders of the Lost Ark. What was his name? The guy with the glasses.
Oh, Tote.
Yeah, I would be like Tote. I'd be like, shoot them. Just shoot them both. Just like I would not let them on the boat. I just like open fire and let them just shoot them all in the water.
It's self-respect, man. Think about it. It's self-respect because even before the firing of Gina Carano, I was boycotting, if you want to use that title, Disney, Star Wars stuff to a certain extent, because you had Ryan Johnson get on Twitter and call people man babies for not liking Last Jedi. You think to yourself, okay, I'm letting these people insult me, even if it's not directly. He made it clear. You don't like my movie, you're a fucking man baby. You had a problem with the movie, you're a man baby, or you're a racist, or you're a sexist, or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Why would you want to give people your money? Why would you want to give those people your hard-earned cash if they're insulting you? If a proper business model is that you respect your customers. That doesn't mean you kiss their asses. It means that you respect them. Like, hey, okay, you're making a specific product. It's probably not the best idea to insult them. Why would you do that? Yeah. But because it's Disney,
not a good
because it's Star Wars, people will still buy it. Because it's all these popular brands, people will go to because, oh man, but I like Spider-Man. I grew up with Spider-Man when I was 5 years old. I can't just stop watching and buying Spider-Man shit. It's like, no. You can buy if you have your old shit, you don't have to feel bad about it. Just don't buy the new shit. As hard as it is, you can do it.
So here it is. The people that wrote Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2 should have written the Star Wars sequel trilogy. We'd probably be living in a utopia if that happened.
Yeah.
Because, but again, you've played those games, right?
I've played parts. I've never owned an Xbox. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well,
but let me put it this way: you
are well aware of its reputation. Everyone will say, "Knights of the Old Republic, greatest Star Wars game ever made."
Dash Star, ever heard of him? On YouTube.
Okay.
Dash Star. He. I don't know if he's even still on YouTube. I see him on Twitter, but in his videos, he always did his intros. He said, "Greetings, exalted ones. My name is Dash," and then he would show a lightsaber hilt making a lightsaber sound. he covered a lot of Star Wars stuff. I enjoyed his content. But I mean, that's where I got a lot of my expanding universe stuff, learning about Knights of the Old Republic, learning about Darth Nihilus and how he was a consumer of worlds. I mean, he made fucking Galactus look like chump change by comparison, you know?
What I mean, I even said this: if Star Wars was in better hands that actually gave a shit about what they were making, instead of just like, hey, did we insult the fans? Are they crying on Twitter? If you didn't have people that were like that, I even said this. I actually wrote it on Facebook. How great would it have been to have a Star Wars horror movie starring Nihilus? Because he is a scary motherfucker.
Yes, he is. Yep. And I'm thinking to myself, where would we be right now if we had Knights of the Old Republic, those stories in a movie? I mean, my dad always tells me this, and I always think about it. You know, if you look at how awesome the Lord of the Rings movies were, imagine if Peter Jackson directed a Star Wars trilogy.
Oh God, that would be so fucking awesome. Dude, put that under his fucking belt.
Dude, I mean, you know how kick-ass the battles would be, how epic the music. I mean, Peter Jackson, John Williams. I mean, it just, oh my God. But we have the sequel trilogy instead. A rehash of the original trilogy. I wanted to see a movie where Darth Nihilus is consuming a fucking planet. It's like, what? What Death Star? Right? Oh, you need a space station to destroy a planet? Bitch, I can consume a planet myself.
Right. And but that's another thing with the sequel trilogy. Death Stars. Why do we need to keep going back to Death Stars? Like, oh, Star Killer Base. It's another Death Star, but it's bigger. And then you got
was destroyed just as easily as a regular Death Star.
If not easier. It was easier to take that one down.
Because the tunnel run.
Yeah.
It was shorter.
It was nothing.
It was like
And then in Rise of Skywalker, when Palpatine like raises this fucking fleet of Star Destroyers that have Death Star firepower. What the fuck? That is overcompensation. Like, if he had all those Star Destroyers on their own, that's good enough.
Because an entire fleet. There's hundreds of them.
Why not hone in on the fucking Star Forge from Knights of the Old Republic, which uses the energy of a nearby star, which we saw that they have experience with Star Killer Base, but not to create a big ass laser, but to create an army, and it taps into the power of the Force. We have these ideas, and they don't. That's just testament to how fans pick up the pieces of other bits of lore, try and work them together in some way, and they get creative. What does Disney do?
Nothing.
They retread on the same fucking shit we've already seen.
The irony is that this is the same situation with Terminator. If you watch part 2 of the Terminator critique, J-Man says it too. He says, you know, me and Kale, we talk about this stuff all the time. And within 15 minutes of a conversation, we've come up with an entire series of ideas he could turn into movies. Yet, you have James Cameron apparently writing a Terminator 7, and it's going to focus on modern-day AI.
God damn it.
I've already said this thousands of times. I've said it in the first 2 episodes of the critique, and I'll be saying it again for the future episodes. But the future of that franchise, if you want to salvage any of it, the future is in the future. The future war, the area that you've barely touched for the movies. If you had an entire movie set in the future war, and it could be anything, it could be an entire battle like Star Wars or Saving Private Ryan, or a fucking horror movie where you have one lone Terminator hunting down people in the Resistance in the future war. You could come up with so many ideas, yet you don't fucking do it. Disney doesn't do it. Oh, we're just going to retread the same shit, or the new shit we give you is going to suck so bad that it's like, oh, man, who would have thought that a solo movie
is a poison?
Who would have thought that a solo movie would lose money? Like, you know what I want to see? I want to see a live-action adaptation of Death Troopers. You ever read Death Troopers?
Oh, fucking zombie stormtroopers! Fuck yeah!
I know you don't like zombies, but
it sounds somewhat intimidating. But the only reason I raised my hand here is because I totally fucking called it. Who the fuck wanted a Han Solo movie?
No one.
Without Harrison Ford,
who was done with the character. I mean,
yeah. Until they decide to bring him back for a really stupid scene in Rise of Skywalker.
God damn it.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Speaking of Disney, Lucasfilm, and Harrison Ford, Indiana Jones. I know that the movie hasn't come out yet, but
God.
Just as like a little, hey, guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna do a watch along series for the Indiana Jones films. Yes, including the fourth one, which many people refuse to acknowledge. But fuck you. But fuck you. They gave Marion and Indy an ending that was much needed. Because I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really like what's her name from Temple of Doom. I especially didn't like the blondie. Yeah, Willie.
Elsa.
I didn't like Elsa. I didn't like them. I was like, where the fuck is Marion? They had the connection, okay? So for all the faults that Crystal Skull has, and I know they are many because I share the same views, at the very least, they gave Indy a classical book end. The character did not need to come back as far as movies are concerned after 4. It was done. It was done. They walked off into the sunset, metaphorically speaking. They got married. Marion and Indy got married. That's it. That's the ending. That's all you need. And based on the fucking plot leaks for this new film, that's essentially what happens again. It happens again. We have to do a whole movie where Indiana Jones is a mopey, sad mop. And he has to go on this adventure with an effeminate, feminist bitch on a dial.
Hang on. Isn't that feminine bitch also a certain other effeminate bitch we've seen in another Lucasfilm production?
Hello, Star Wars story. Droid Rice. Yes, the same bitch. The one who helped to write the latest James Bond movie that kills him off. If that doesn't tell you how Indiana Jones 4 or 5 is going to be, I don't know what does. And again, it's Lucasfilm under Disney. It's Kathleen Kennedy. You don't think that you would love to have a chance to ruin another legendary character, a character that so many people love? And I'm thinking to myself, why did Harrison Ford sign up for this shit? Why?
Why?
Well, maybe he was behind on a mortgage payment. I don't know.
Dude, you know what he should have done? No. He shouldn't. The biggest regret in life, him selling his shit to the fucking mouse. Biggest fucking regret, though. You know what he should have done? He should have done a challenge, like a big challenge show, like a test, though, sort of like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, except instead of getting the whole factory, you get someone that's running your entire shit, like a diehard hardcore fan.
What the fuck is wrong with you? Are you talking about the remake?
No, I'm talking about the book. Or
Nobody cares. Nobody reads books anymore, okay?
God damn, I'm talking about like the idea. Thing. But Jesus Christ, you know what I'm trying to say? Okay, you know what? Have a show that involves some assorted diehard Star Wars Indiana Jones fans, and sort of do like a competition and see whoever is standing, that person will run your shit. That'll run your shit, though. I would have fucking done that. I would have signed up for that. Like, you know what? Choosing someone to run your shit? Fuck yeah, sign me up. I'll do it.
Or just don't sell to Disney in the first place.
Or don't sell them to Disney in the first place. Give it to someone you can trust. Not
Disney's like a Hydra. Disney's like a Hydra now, right? It has so many tentacles that have infected and grabbed so many things. It just keeps consuming shit. You know, every major property is practically owned by Disney, with the exception of like DC. I mean, or Star Trek. Star Trek is still, but Paramount. Star Trek has gone through bullshit. Hey, you know what though? Doctor Who is now owned by Disney as well.
Oh God damn it, the BBC.
I mean, shit. Doctor Who's already in the toilet as it is, and now it's even worse because they decided to make the Doctor gay. despite the fact that he has a wife.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's again just infecting everything with this modern day political, social environment. This cancer. It's a cancer. It really is because it's consuming everything. It destroys everything, and it leaves nothing but blood and tears.
You know what? I swear to God. You know what? If Walt was alive, he'd be fucking pissed. You know, I bet that he's even rolling in his grave. Or better yet, though, I swear to God, if somehow I believe in this conspiracy that Walt's head is fucking frozen and they just need to put it on a body or something, if he comes back and sees his shit, he's gonna fucking just fucking put me back in. Put me fucking back in.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah. And besides, I don't think it would be a head. It would make more sense if it was his whole body. Like, cryo freeze if they even had that technology.
Yeah.
But no, I get what you mean, though. Although I can't really say for sure whether or not Walt would actually be pissed or not. For all we know, he could have been like, hey, you know what? I like the way this is going. That's what I've noticed. This is what I've noticed. This is what I've noticed. A lot of these creators of certain things where it's like we would assume they would be pissed off at the vandalization of their properties. They're like, oh, no, actually, this is all really good. I've started to notice that quite a bit with a few of them. I mean, like James Cameron doesn't really give a shit about Terminator, obviously. I mean,
no.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, oh man, if only James Cameron would come back to make a Terminator movie. No, I don't want to see him make a Terminator movie because the James Cameron of today is not the same James Cameron that made the first two Terminator films. It's just
yeah, the James Cameron you knew for the first two T2 movies, he died when he won an Oscar for Titanic, okay?
A movie I hate. And
because
now.
Everyone thought that he really got pretentious when he snagged that Oscar for Titanic. Because remember, he did say, I'm the king of the world! Because he's thinking, I won an Oscar, I made the highest grossing movie of all time, I'm better than you.
Well, to be honest, though, even though Caleb doesn't like the movie because there's romance in it, but I do like it, though, for some historical purposes.
I like it for one reason. First nude scene I ever saw in a movie.
Oh yeah, the drawing scene.
I'm somewhat there with you, but I think the first nude scene I've ever seen was in Terminator. Better movie. Same director, but better movie.
True.
More enjoyable for me. And it's funny because it's like, well, Titanic it's a newer film compared to the first Terminator, yet I don't know, it just looks better for me. It's more appealing to me. Whether or not it's better than Titanic from a technical standpoint. I mean, as far as graphics are concerned, obviously Titanic is more modern, so it's a lot sharper. But I mean, still, Terminator for me, Terminator is a better story.
Yeah.
I mean the actual history of the Titanic itself, separating the whole romance thing, the stories that I've heard about Titanic, the things I've read, if you want to put on your tinfoil hat shit. But I mean, it's very interesting about the Titanic, about certain people that were on board that were, I mean, I don't want to dive into that right now. That's a whole other rabbit hole.
Rapping dog?
Oh God, not that one.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, there was an animated Titanic movie that involved a fucking rapping dog. Jesus Christ. Fucking.
Okay.
Anyway.
Move
weird. On.
But no,
Move along.
Haha, Star Wars reference, cute. But man, the bottom line is that our society has gotten too lax and relaxed to the point where we're letting certain things happen that shouldn't be happening. But the things that are happening are being promoted as diverse and a positive thing. Yet our decline in our military begs to differ. The fact that there are you have actors that are saying, I'm going to support and protect trans kids.
Charlize Theron.
Yep.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yep.
Oh, Laurie Strode, great final girl. You know what? If Nev Campbell doesn't say any of that stupid shit, then I'm going to say, you know what, Nev? I've underestimated you. I think you're my new favorite final girl. Congratulations.
Guess.
Oh.
Sorry, Jamie Lee Curtis. You are officially dead. You are no longer the queen. You're no longer the Scream Queen.
She never was.
This queen is dead. The slut is dead. Long live the queen.
But you know what? Like Elvira, for example.
Oh, God damn it.
I mean, fantastic at first. It's like, oh my God. It was fun to meet her. Obviously, Elvira is a popular character.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, not only is she saying stupid shit, but now she comes out. It's like, oh yeah, I got a girlfriend. Congratulations!
What do you
oh my
want,
God,
fucking
another celebrity that comes out as gay. What are the odds? It's like, who gives a shit at the end of the day, right? I mean, because again, Pride Month. If narcissism had a month to itself, this is it. Because what are you actually doing when you get on social media, especially when you're very rich? And you come out as gay or all these imaginary terms, which, I mean, that's another thing. How is it that we've gotten to the point in our society where we're making up these different genders? Where you say, I'm non-binary, or I'm asexual, or I'm pansexual. All these different terms. And they are meaningless at the end of the day. You know why? Because the moment an EMP goes off, boom, shuts down all the technology, and we're back to the dark ages, essentially. Does that all matter? No.
Nope.
Because now there's not going to be anybody that's cooped up in their room looking on their phone saying, oh my God, yes, another trans person's come out as trans. I feel represented by the popular actors and celebrities.
Do I need to bring it up again? Do I need to bring it up again? Because if there are that many people in society and you're just suddenly finding out about it and it just seems to keep growing and growing, again, it was like I was saying before we came on the air. It's like that dude said, if there is more than enough of you to put together a fucking parade where you claim you're celebrating your uniqueness, if there's that many of you who are just like that, then are you really unique? If that's what you're going to base it off of? Because there should be many aspects to who we are as people that should make us unique, but why are you basing it only on that when it is anything but unique anymore? Because it's become so mainstream. This is just
about it,
again, it's cultivated a generation of narcissists.
If you think about it, they're actually hurting their own cause. If they're even actually trying to fight for equality, which I don't think they are.
They're not.
Not with their behavior, not with the fact that they demand to be represented in every single aspect. Like everything has to have a certain person from a quote unquote marginalized group. And you have to ask yourself, okay, if you're already being widely accepted by so many corporations and the government itself, what more do you want? Well, you want to be above everybody else. You don't want to be on equal ground. You want to be above. You want the special treatment, because if your feelings get hurt, you're the one group or one of the few groups that gets to complain about it, to the point where, something as simple as you have a local bakery that refuses to bake a gay wedding cake, and suddenly everybody's in uproar, like, oh my God, they're homophobic, they're transphobic. First and foremost, a phobia is being fearful of something. I'm sure that a lot of these people,
fear.
Yes, and I can speak for myself and say that no, I'm not afraid of homosexuals. I'm not afraid of transsexuals.
Gay.
I'm pretty sure that a lot of these people that are speaking out against these things, they're not afraid. They're just in disapproval. They're in disapproval of everything that has happened, everything that is happening, to the point where you're including kids in these activities where they have no business being in them. This was another thing. It was the parental rights and education bill in Florida, which people have called the "Don't Say Gay" bill. Right? Now, notice this. For the most part, the biggest uproar of that bill, which never said "Don't say gay," because we read some of it on here, we showed it on screen. It never said anything about "Don't say gay." But you had the media and you had representatives from the LGBT community calling it the "Don't Say Gay" bill. And the funny thing is, for the most part, the only people that were complaining about it were the LGBT community. You have to ask yourself, why is that? Because the bill, Parental Rights in Education Bill, which prohibited the teaching or the presenting of things related to sex, gender, sexual orientation to minors in school, okay? That is across the board. Heterosexual, homosexual, right? Any of that shit. That's what the bill prohibited. That the parents have a right to say, hey, you know what? No. I don't want this shit being taught to my kids. Of course, for me, it's like, just get your kids out of the public schools anyway, because they're indoctrination camps. Besides that, you had people in the LGBT community making a big stink about it. And they were pretty much the only ones. It's painful. It is very painful.
It's a tough pill to swallow.
Hear stories of children or teenagers that were pressured either by their schools, their friends, or their parents to get a gender reassignment surgery or to get on hormones. There's a woman, a girl. She's in her teens. I can't remember her name, but she had come out and speaking out against the trans shit, where she can't. She's what is it?
Infertile.
Yeah, she
or
can't.
Sterile.
She's sterile. She can't have children. She was pressured by a doctor to basically go through the transition because she was starting to question her gender, and her parents didn't know what to do. So they went to a doctor, and the doctor encouraged her to get her breasts removed and take hormones. And like I see Ellen Page. I mean, it's heartbreaking to a certain extent to see a beautiful lady go into looking like a dude.
But you know what I see? A narcissist craving attention. Because first it was, she's a lesbian, and now she's a guy with rotting skin, like pale like a fucking corpse, the fakest looking torso. Like, what the fuck? It's disgusting to look at.
And yet it's being promoted as positive. And that's
why is mutilating yourself a positive thing, though? Just to make others feel represented?
I think it's almost like a jab at people who are traditionalists. Like the idea that having the nuclear family, I mean, people love to criticize the nuclear family and say, well, we want a different family unit. It's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like, we're not saying you can't have your
cake and eat it too.
Your gay family unit bullshit necessarily, right?
Sorry.
You can go do what you're going to do. But to criticize the nuclear family and to pretend that heterosexuality or being straight isn't the default, you're an idiot. I'm sorry, but the science speaks for itself. Every species has a biological imperative to survive and persist through means of procreation. You can't do that with two of the same gender. You just can't. Now, you have animals, like certain breeds of frogs, that can change their gender, but that's out of necessity because they need to procreate. They have a built-in program, if you will, to procreate. So when you apply that to humanity, it's like, yeah, sure, not every heterosexual couple procreates. With that said, that small minority or majority, it's probably not the majority though, because we're still here, right? You still have people, they'll have to complain about overpopulation, right? So obviously people are still procreating, okay? But you have that still going on. And it's a good thing. It's a damn good thing, because if you don't procreate, our species will die out. And if that's your goal, then congratulations. I mean, you're already getting there with with violating the morals, because our country used to have morals. The Western civilization had morals. And the hilarious and ironic bit is that our political and economic rivals are now promoting it more than we are and criticizing us for being where we are, even though they are partially responsible for having us here in the first place, where we are. That's the sad thing. The sad thing is that we've gotten away from a lot of important things. And no, I'm not advocating for a total right-wing domination of shit, because when you look at it, the political right is partially responsible for why we are where we are. Because they decided to say that things like entertainment are not important.
Matt Walsh.
They let their political rivals take over the industry. And because people like movies, you gravitate towards those movies run by that political ideology. All of a sudden you start having people question their gender. Oh, I saw it in a movie once. Or, oh, my professor in college, he's like, oh, you gotta question your gender. There's more than just two genders. I'm non-binary, shit like that, right? But the political right let the left dominate so much that there's no longer balance. There's no balance. The Gina Carano getting fired and Disney facing practically no backlash is enough to tell you everything you need to know about that whole situation. She is a great example. She's not the only example, but she's the one that got a lot of people's attention. That's for sure.
But you're absolutely right, because it's how they look at it. Because the right, they always look at entertainment like it's nothing to them. It's like, well, that's insignificant. No, because when you really think about it, entertainment, especially when subjected to children, is what shapes their minds. And because children and their attention spans, they want to be entertained. Mm-hmm. Now, you can't just say take away their TV or whatever, because you got to let your children have fun too, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't care what your fucking religion is or whatever. Like, oh, we don't believe in... Shut the fuck up.
Oh, God.
Like, it's not a sin. It's just a basic... I'd say it's a necessity. I would. Mm-hmm. But...
what? I think it's okay.
Just to look down on. I mean, yeah, we are at a point where it's like, yeah, a little less screen time is more at this point, because, look, when my nephew... out there. Yeah, like when my nephew comes here, it's like, I don't need you going on my fucking iPad all the time, buddy. I mean, I get that you enjoy playing games and stuff, but come on, let's go outside and play. Let's go to the playground. Let's build a fort or something. Which, if you saw, we totally did that, by the way.
Which is cool.
But yeah, But yeah, when it comes to video games and stuff, it's like, yeah, have fun. This is how you do it, because you're playing my old games in here. But with the political right just looking down at this shit to say it doesn't really matter because we're so much better than that.
Because we have the facts, but people don't always care about the facts, do they?
That's the arrogant. That's where the right can be. Yeah, it is arrogant, but you got arrogance on the right and bitchiness on the left. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's something that I always criticize. People that even some of the people that I've gone to protest with, that they're like for the trans event that we went to with that taco place, you had a big majority of the people there reading off Bible verses, and I'm thinking to myself, look, I understand what you're trying to do, and you're very firm in your beliefs with Christianity and such. That's fine. It's just you're not going to reach those people by talking about talking that stuff. No. You're not, because people aren't always going to resonate with Jesus. I'm sorry, but they won't. So, okay, and there's like, well, how do we reach them? Use a neutral ground. You advocate to the more intellectual side, if they have any, that, look, it doesn't make sense to include kids in drag shows. It doesn't make any sense to be putting children who are still developing on hormone blockers. I don't need Jesus to say this doesn't make any fucking sense and this is wrong. advocate or point out or highlight. What is that?
It's Super Mecha Death Christ.
No, that's cool.
Oh, okay.
Fuckers.
Fuckers.
Yeah. Yep.
But you don't need the religious aspects to point out the flaws in all this LGBT bullshit representation trying to get kids into drag and getting kids to transition. Again, it is what I played.
What about escalation?
Escalation, because it started with, oh, we just want to have equal rights. Oh, and then it started to get to, well, drag queens, drag shows, Pride Month. Oh, now it's
Trans kids.
I mean, I didn't think that we would get to this point where we have trans kids and practically open pedophilia. I mean, that is the final road. That is the final destination. Open pedophilia. And the funny thing is, you have a lot of government entities that are involved in these things. Like one of the things that people will point out that I've seen plenty of times is, oh, well, what about the Catholic priests that have been doing pedophilia shit, huh? Yeah, they weren't trans, but they're doing it. One, just because someone else is doing it doesn't justify your group doing it.
No.
It's for everybody.
Second, and in obvious addition to the first, this shit shouldn't be happening in the first place, but it is. My theory has to do with a repression of the natural sexual flow that we as humans engage in. If you look at what happens with priests when they enter into celibacy or they're not allowed to have relations with women, you're repressing something that is the equivalent of a geyser. Or hell, you could equate it to a soda, right? You start shaking the soda up, keeping that lid on it, eventually it's going to pop. And when it pops, it's going to be a very
messy.
It's going to be a big mess.
Yeah.
Okay. And so when you get that, and then you translate that example over to the individuals that were maybe sexually abused or, having a repression of the natural sex drive, things tend to happen. These things can manifest in different ways. One,
sexual deviant
you could get results like people that are pedophiles or people that are into bestiality. Okay. Or you could get it to where people become gay. I mean, it could be that. I mean, I have another theory about homosexuality that's not necessarily related to what we're talking about here, but besides that, it could also manifest in things like murder, where someone gets raped and instead of becoming gay, well, they just start wanting to kill people because they were brutally raped. The only knowledge they have is violence and pain, and so they begin to reflect that on others. They say, "Well, I got raped," and now their mindset is, "Well, now I'm going to inflict that same pain on other people." The sexual repression and the abuse of the sexual flow, if you will, it will manifest in different ways. And it's unfortunate, but it happens. And unfortunately, you have people that are advocating for the normalcy of these things, of this behavior. And then when you call it out, you get people say, "Oh, stop calling gays pedophiles." We're not saying that every homosexual is a pedophile. I'm saying that when you have people advocating for kids to go into drag and perform sexual dances or advocating for children to get on hormone blockers, I have a big fucking problem with that. And many people do too. It's just, I think that people need to be more aggressive in their pushback because it's still happening. You have many popular celebrities that are advocating for these things and that it should be normalized. It should be okay. These are people that I enjoyed. And now I can't really enjoy them as much. I can't separate the art from the artist because if the artist is advocating for pedophilia, you bet your ass I'm not going to be okay with it. That's a very simple fact.
Again, what happened to just letting kids be kids? Like, why do they feel like they gotta go for this whole? But kids need to learn about this as well. No, they do not. they will get to an age where maybe, as long as they're aware of stuff, like having awareness, of course, knowledge is power.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're just trying to, brainwash them into thinking you must do this and do this and do that, and it just it escalates into, well, just take. It's like the whole give them an inch, they take a mile. Because I hate this whole get the children involved. Like, what happened to the times where you're
Let
gay?
them be innocent.
It's like, okay, you're gay. That's what you do behind closed doors, but that's your business. And it's just like, okay, we agree on that. So, all right, we understand that you're different, but you don't need to. Devil's in the details. Okay, don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah,
but now,
don't ask.
Now,
don't
now it's
tell.
now it's all about shoving it everywhere, and children is where the line is drawn. It's like, stop. Just stop. Don't show this to children. Like, you want children to learn shit in school? Make them learn the English fucking language, for one, because I think that's become so obsolete anymore because there are people who don't know how to fucking spell anymore.
Yeah. All they use
And
text.
math, say what you want about math. I cheated through math, by the way.
Same.
But, like, yeah, I know there were subjects in school that we think maybe they aren't that important from when we reach adulthood, but guess what? Whatever it was, social studies, science, whatever it was, it's more important than learning about, well, what different genders and stuff. It's like, stop.
Fucking stop.
When you have
Stop
people that say that there's an infinite number of genders,
it's a lie.
You're complicating something very simple.
Imagination.
Mm-hmm.
You're complicating something that's very fucking simple. Men and women. That's it. You have people say, like in the intro, you have this stupid fucking teacher saying, "I'm just a kid. You're a fucking retard. That's what you are. You're teaching these kids. Oh, well, I'm non-binary." No.
Yeah,
Don't try and look. Being gay versus straight is one thing, but fucking non-binary, what?
Hey, you know how that clip could have been edited? Add the clip of Miko Hughes from Kindergarten Cop.
Oh yes, boys have a penis and girls have a vagina. Oh god.
Oh, that would have been perfect. But now I'm gonna come back around to something else we were talking about. Oh shit! And my brain farted again.
But also,
carry on so I can remember.
Okay, so Caleb, you know that thing you said about open pedophilia, and that lady who said that pedophilia should be the norm. I fucking disagree with that 100% all the fucking way. Continue.
Representation in everything. Does it really need to be? Well, no, because not everything needs to reflect the world we live in today. Because here's the thing about diversity and inclusion. It should not be a fucking checklist. Because here we are again at the whole cast thing. If you are literally just going, okay, cast of characters, we got bi character, black character, check. If you're just checking off the boxes and those are the defining traits of a character, what does that make them?
Very shallow.
Shallow indeed.
It's another word. It starts with the letter T that we use a lot on the show. Tokenization. Because that kind of shallow writing does create tokenism.
Yeah.
Look at South Park. Like, there is a black kid who is literally named Token as a joke at tokenism.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, think about how, again, we've discussed this how many times now, where you have characters that are race swapped or gender swapped, sexuality swapped, and there's no good reason for it.
No.
Except for them, it is a good reason because it's all about representation. Except you're doing more harm than good to that motivation or that goal, because by making a previously established white character black, you're giving the black character now sloppy seconds of the white character.
Right?
The character is unoriginal, and you're hurting your own cause.
And
why not create? Wouldn't it be better for you, the creative, to create a whole new black character that people can get behind?
Yeah.
You think that all these characters we have now just showed up on the scene and they were instantly accepted? No. They had to earn their acceptance. You had over 70 years for many characters to be accepted. Batman. Great fucking character. I love Batman. Despite what anybody might say about him, even people that I support. I love Batman. Batman is a kick-ass character. But he had to earn his place. Now, all of a sudden, you get a tokenized version of Batman. Batwoman. She gets her own TV show.
Oh,
a TV
shit.
show where she got replaced, where she was tokenized again. That's double
Because
negatives.
That is where the whole diversity quota has started to eat itself, though, because people are now saying that's not diverse enough now, or whatever they're using. It's like, no, they got to keep doubling down until they shut these people up. But guess what? You can't. You cannot please these people. So why are you trying to please them when they cannot be pleased? Now,
They don't even care about the material either. That's the thing.
no, it's not about money. It's about sending a message.
And the Joker was right once again.
But again, I just want to laugh one more time. That meme I posted with Batman. Tell me, do you bleed? Only once a month.
Yeah. Also, to my statement about the open pedophilia thing, like I said, I don't agree with it. I find it disgusting, repulsive.
I mean, you really shouldn't have to say that. I mean,
But
it's one
you
of
know,
those
like,
things that's
but
that's
you know
common
what?
sense.
I know that's common sense, but you know what I would love to fucking do? Organize a mob, find a fucking pedophile, and fuck them up. I fucking hate pedophiles. They make me sick. I just want to find out where they are, and I just want to fucking castrate them with a fucking 45. Castrate them, or just fucking string them from a tree.
Well, you would be needing lots of ammo, and it'd be taking you a very long time.
Did I ever tell you about our former general supervisor at work?
Was he one?
Totally.
Oh Jesus! I hope you better have started a lynch mob.
Years ago. This was like a decade ago.
Oh Christ!
It was basically he was IMing a 14-year-old girl and goes down to Montana to meet her. And of course,
Chris Hansen.
Basically, that's what happened. Well,
Chris Hansen was there.
No, but that's exactly what happened.
He got catfished by the law.
He did, and he got fired, rightfully so.
Serves your fucking right.
Just knowing that, like, I remember seeing this little skit, this little parody of the whole Chris Hansen thing. It's like, what are you doing? Nothing. I drove here 17 hours just to say I wasn't coming. Like, is that really the excuse people would go with? Yeah, I came here just to say, I wasn't going to go through with it. That's why I came here. But again, sometimes you don't just go out there to look. I mean, I know, like, the world should not have any people there like that at all, but sometimes you'll wait for them to make a move, then you stop them. That's kind of what we have to do. Once they make a move, you get out there and you stop them from doing something grossly immoral. I mean,
evil.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, let me use hunting as a metaphor. Like, let's say you're hunting gophers or something. Okay. You're not going right for the holes, are you?
No.
You're just waiting for one to stick its head out, and there's a shitload of gophers outside. But I live in a city. I can't do anything. But Yeah, I'm not gonna. You don't go around looking. You wait. Then you make your move.
Yeah, it's evil though.
It
That is the best word to describe what's happening today. The advocation for the drag shows, for the hormone blockers for children. Ultimately, what it leads to escalation. Remember that term, people. Escalation.
What's up?
Your dad is telling you to remember something.
Oh,
I don't know. What am I supposed to be remembering?
spooky. Remember.
I don't know. Her go. That thing is.
Oh, I know what he's talking about.
Yep.
A gentleman by the name of Lee. I remember. Here go the thing is. it's someone we used to know.
Oh.
Anyway. But no, so ultimately, in the end, Pride Month is exactly why I love speaking out against these things, because it is the culmination of everything that I despise, pretty much. I mean, people that are narcissistic, egotistic, sociopathic, they get an entire month where they can celebrate something that supposedly is out of their control, celebrate an aspect of their lives. And the fact that nobody else gets a Pride Month, and I'm not even advocating for that, though. That's the thing.
No.
I'm not advocating for straight Pride Month. Because for what? For what?
For what?
It's I mean,
Straight September?
I laugh how they did that one time in Boston, but at the same time, I think it's just counterproductive and completely meaningless. It's like, just shut the fuck up. We all exist. We're all humans here. Stop trying to put yourselves above each other. And the whole, like, I'm sorry, the straight pride thing, I mean, if you're really willing to just do it just to own the other side, then you're no better.
I think that what it is that people are getting tired of it. And if you do it out of spite, maybe as a one-time thing, yeah, sure. Because it really does serve to highlight the necessity or the non-necessity of having a Pride Month in the first place. Like, there are better things and more productive things to be proud of. To say, hey, you know what? I'm proud to be an American citizen where I can speak my mind and there are plenty of opportunities, or at least they're used to. But for the most part, you're free to speak your mind on whatever issues you feel the need to speak out on without having the government come down and arrest you for saying the wrong thing. Of course, if they decide to legislate the First Amendment, then yeah, it's pretty much over. Because the moment they decide to police speech, it is over. Because, like comedy, being offensive or being offended by something is subjective. Because what one person may find offensive, another person may not find offensive, right? So, that being the case, where does the line get drawn? Where it's like, okay, well, you call me a bad word. Like, here's a funny one. In the UK, I've seen people get arrested for cussing out the cops.
Piggies.
Literally, I saw someone get tackled for saying, you're a dickhead to a cop. That happens here. Because really, America is the last battleground, I would say, for a freedom of speech, for a free country, despite all the bullshit that's here right now. Because you can still go out and protest the government, and you're not going to have a SWAT team come down immediatally and arrest you for the most part. Does it still happen? Yeah. I mean, just look at January 6th. They're calling the big insurrection. It's like, really? Really? That is the big... I mean, when you literally had people saying that January 6th is the new 9/11.
I call bullshit.
No, they were saying it was worse.
Oh, yeah, worse than 9/11. That's right. Meanwhile, you had back in 2020 the George Floyd riots that saw cities go up in flames. But oh no, fiery, but mostly peaceful.
Bullshit.
So, you guys already know.
Yep.
We all know the gig. We all know what motivates these people to do what they do. they're not only ruining our culture, our entertainment, they're ruining our society. But so long as there are people to speak out against it, they can never truly win, because we are the rebellion. We are the resistance, as much as we can be.
Indeedly.
Indeed.
So, as far as content coming up on the channel, next week might be something different. First of all, it's June 30th is when the new Indiana Jones film is coming out, which we will not be watching. I'm not going to watch it. I've told my dad we can't watch it. Do you really want to see another beloved character get violated in the ass?
Character
If you want
assassinated.
if you want to, then go right ahead. But for me, I'm saying no. But since it is that time, and since I don't want to focus solely on Pride Month, because why would I? Which we don't anyway, because we got our other shows. We're going to be doing an Indiana Jones watch along for all 4 of the movies, even though some don't like the 4th movie.
I like it.
Yeah. I'm sorry you can't accept the 4th one. Well, we're going to sit through it. We're going to have as much fun as we can. But it's going to be fun regardless, because Indiana Jones is a legendary character. And even though Disney's going to attempt to butcher the character, they cannot violate the first 4 movies, or 3 if you're in that camp. But we can still express our love for the character. And it's going to be a good time. We're going to be watching some good movies instead of watching some shitty movies or laughing at bad movies. But hell, you know what? We can even laugh at the good movies, right? Have a good time regardless. So that's what's coming up. Of course, I'm still working on the Terminator critique. It's taking a while because of work, setting me behind a bit. But part 3 is still coming. It's just taking some extra time. But regardless, next week we will be watching Raiders of the Lost Ark. That will be the first movie we're going to watch. We're going to watch the movies in chronological order from when they were released. So it's going to be a fun time. And of course, after that, we'll have Danner's Dumpster, and then Magic Projector, and then back to maybe War and Pop Culture. We'll see. We still have an entire month of Pride to go, and new shit might happen. So you never know.
And this Saturday, episode 3 of Horrorwood over on Movie Misfits with Chris Snyder. We'll be talking about Nightmare on Elm Street because it was my pick. So I picked one of my favorites.
Good choice.
And then in a couple weeks, I'll be on Good Real Hunting, watching Freddy vs. Jason, which I am very much looking forward to, because Jason's really good at being a bitch.
So a special thank you to our Patreon supporters, Mother Mulder and Kyle Curtis Flat. And as always, until next time, my friends, ladies and gentlemen, fellow investigators, remember that the future is not set and that the entertainment is out there.
I'm Special Agent Spooky Clutter.
I'm Special Agent Carter Sauce.
Special Agent Dr. Richtofen. And until next time, fellow investigators, remember.
The entertainment.
The entertainment.
The entertainment is out there.